Let me get this going. I would like to show some work from 2020 and a little bit of 2019. It's not a lot, but we're going to go through these really quickly. Let me see. 1 second. I'm still trying to get used to this Zoom. Can you see my screen right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, can you see the photos?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Going straight into it. Okay, so I started my year with this photo shoot. It was a boudoir shoot for my friend Destiny. She wanted something meaningful to her only because she was a bit self-conscious, so she wanted a confidence booster. So I used for this one light system, and we had no lights on in the room. So it was kind of difficult to do the shoot, but I'm glad with how this one came out. Here's the second shot. One of my other favorites is that one. Very natural, very moody. I like to do moody. My favorite thing to do with my photos is make the contrast dramatic, but the highlights and the shadows pop out more. So I like to make it look a little bit painterly, but very artsy. So I'm gonna get to the next shoot that I did. This is my friend Alexa. She's an aspiring model. She's been wanting to do it for a while, so she came to me personally, and I felt honored to do it. She wanted some natural shots of her in her own state. She had no modeling experience, so I had to guide her through everything as we went through this session. Let's go to the next one. This shot was my favorite of her. Very nice shot of her, very natural, very loose. At one point she was a little stiff, but this would have to be my favorite. This is when she got very, very comfortable. So I like to describe myself as an off-camera flash photographer, only because that's all I ever do now is off-camera flash. I've done weddings, I've done different kind of birthday events, I've done newborn, I've done toddlers, I've done anything you can think of, I've done it. And to this point, I just thought, hey, I fell in love with the off-camera flash. So this is why I wanted to continue to do it. And the more I've done it, the better I've gotten. And now I think to this point, this is the style I would love to stick to. So this is more new. This was one of my favorites of 2019. Very hot summer day. I was doing a collaboration with one of my other friends who's also a photographer. He recommended the model, I recommended the outfit, and I think these came out really, really great. So there's gonna be a few on the next few photos. So this was all kind of in the same area. There was a dock area, there was there's tall fields of grass, there was a bridge. So there was many opportunities to take photos. This by far is my very favorite shot of her. Very, very nice, very bright. This was during the golden hour around 5 or 6 p.m. Okay, this is Mildred. I have worked with her plenty of times. You'll see her towards the end of this presentation as well. She's also an aspiring model, but she has been doing it for quite a while. She is getting better and better as we go, and you'll see the difference towards the end of this presentation of her modeling and posing. Right here again, I'm using one light. This was downtown. Forgot what area it was, but we actually did this in the fall, and it was probably around 4 o'clock when it was getting dark. It was daylight saving time. It was around that time. So I'm gonna keep on going. This is a good friend, Janine. She contacted me and wanted some birthday photos of her. And she's also a makeup artist, so she wanted to showcase some of her makeup skills. And this is also with one light, and I have a reflector. If you guys can see my mouse moving around, the reflector is right under her eyes, which gives it that nice glow. Here's Mildred again for that same session that was also with the red doors. So I don't only shoot women. My screen is loading. I don't get many. Oh, this is a different photo. Give me 1 second. It skipped for some reason. Okay, so this is my brother-in-law, LJ. He's a gamer. He likes to do gaming and streaming. So he wanted some portrait photos that were kind of dramatic. I used 3 lights for this session. From the right side of the image, we had a purple LED light. And then from the left side, we had a red LED light. And we also had it very, very close to him. I had my sister assisting with holding one light, and I had the other light being held by something else and propped up. And then at the top, right above him, I have the main light on him. A lot of this dramaticness is actually just editing in Lightroom and Photoshop. I turned off the main light, and then we just worked with the purple and the red to get this shot. And also the same with this one. This was his idea. All right, let's go to the next shot. This is Alexa again. We were downtown. This session, I put together the outfit and told her, well, I requested the makeup style. I like to do a lot of collaborations with models. That way I can present my work as well and my style and how I present beauty in my own way. I guess I can describe myself as a beauty portrait photographer because I see myself doing a lot of fashion and a lot of portraiture. So I like to bring the beauty out of people, especially through my eyes. Here's another shot. This was taken on 30th and Market. This is actually the 30th Street train station in this area. This was also done with one light. I can give more information about the light that I've been using. It's a Godox AD200, and I was using a Canon 6D Mark II for these. But originally, for my old sessions, I've used a Canon T5. I like to do pinup sessions. I've done it before, but this year I decided to do it again to see how much I've improved from the years before. This was also done with one light in a studio that I rented out, which is on Aramingo Ave. Very helpful people, great space to work in. Very low grade, but it's perfect. It's no matter what, the customer service was great, and the space was good enough. That's all we ever needed. I used, as you can see, it's a blue backdrop. It was a little bit darker, but I lightened it through Photoshop and Lightroom. I do touch-ups on the skin as well if it's needed. These are just a few of my favorites. This one was actually my favorite of all of the session. Very vintage, but very colorful. I would like to be vibrant as well with my colors. Some headshots. And Becky, she's a great, great model. She's very creative, very artistic, more like an actor. So she was very perfect for the session. So this was done at Amtrak station. This was right after work. One day, I actually had a very busy day, and I committed to this photo shoot, and this was a rescheduled photo shoot. So I was afraid it was going to rain, but thank God it didn't. But the clouds did so well with this shot. Again, I'm using one light for this one. It's the same one, the Godox AD200. There's a few more I'll have for you. These are my favorite shots. And I like to shoot from below, only because you get more sky, you get more dramaticness, a lot more dynamic. You can see the city skyline. Here are some headshots. All done with one light. She was right in front of the light, actually. Okay. This one was also my favorite. This was her pose. It's very different, but I admired it so much I had to take that shot. The wind was blowing in her hair. I try to look at every single detail for each shot just to make it pop somehow. This is also Mildred again. This was our most recent session. This was, I think, about a month ago. I'm still currently editing her images at this time, but we were able to get basically 4 sessions in one hour. She needed some digitals for her modeling. She needed some of these right here. As you can see, she's wearing that outfit. She's wearing a different outfit. I don't have it on this presentation. It was purple and blue. But you'll also see that I have some beauty headshots of her. So I've done beauty headshots before, but these would, I would say, have to be my most improvement because of my editing skills and my lighting. I took the time to understand it. And I think to this point, I'm very comfortable with trying to get through a session within a small amount of time. So I'm gonna get to the next shot. This is also another portrait shot of her. I kind of bumped up the vibrance and saturation on this to bring her hair color out more and to bring that hunter green out. I possibly did some face editing as well. You can see. There you go. So this is one of my favorites. I love that her eyes are popping out. Her skin has been edited just to give it that beauty edit, just to make it more dramatic. I sharpened her eyes a bit. I do have a reflector right under her as well, if you can see the little whiteness on the bottom of her eyeball. Now, for this session, you did see that I had a white background. I used some kind of reflector that was black. It was a very tall V-flat kind of object, and we used that as a different backdrop for this session. It was even very large. You can do anything with anything possible. When you look around, your mind can go anywhere with it. And they also had a white side, so I could have used it as well, but I didn't. I'm gonna show you some more. It's another shot. And that's the last shot of my presentation. I'd like to zoom in on this one so you guys can see what I have done. My biggest struggle throughout the years of doing photography, I could never get a very clear, sharp image because of my eyesight, and the glasses is kind of difficult to deal with when you have a camera. Let's see, let me get closer on this again. Just wanted to show you. My computer's a bit slow, sorry. Okay, so I did some editing around her forehead, her face, her eyes, just to make it a little bit sharper. Again, as you can see, I still used a reflector for this to clearing all the shadows, harsh shadows, because if I didn't have it, she would have had more harsh shadows right under her chin area. So let's see. I also toned it to be a bit warmer for this image because it was a lot cooler. I wish I had a before and after to show you guys, but I didn't put this in the presentation. And those are my images.
That's great. So I have a bunch of questions. And they're mostly, I mean, can you put the name of the light? I know you kept talking about it, but I don't know how you do what you do with an off-camera flash, so I'm kind of blown away by that.
Thank you.
That's really
cool. It was a Godox AD200. There you go. And there you go. That is it.
Are you able to take commissions from people? Because, you know, I mean, when I'm out a lot, I don't do headshots or anything like that, but I'm asked often, and I don't really know who to recommend, but I'm just wondering, are you doing this as a side business or?
Yeah, I'm definitely doing it as a side business. Any free time, from now on, I've done a lot of collaborations in the beginning of the year because of COVID and all. So I would say, hey, why not? Let me just get some content for my portfolio. But I've been getting paid here and there, but any more free time, I don't want to have it as not commissioned because I do have kids. So now anytime I take out of it, I ask for some kind of compensation. So
great, good. Well, I think you can start asking for real money.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have a session on Monday. I have a session on Monday. I also have about 2 or 3 next weekend as well. Their maternity, their engagement. So I do all of that as well.
Great, congratulations. It's really amazing to continue to develop that, the practice and the art of it and the technical. I mean, I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed.
Thank you. It was difficult. It took me years just to get me to where I am now. I stopped doing photography after the program because I didn't have a camera. I waited 1 year, and then Christmas came around. My parents bought me a Canon T5, and I started using that, and I thought I was professional back then, but now I see my work from before, and I see it now, and I'm just so surprised of how much I've improved. And it's all about YouTube. It's all about, you know, Googling everything. I've done a lot of reading on articles. I've done collaborations with other photographers just to learn more about lighting. The session with the girl with the green hair and the yellow dress, that lighting was actually a Godox AD600, and that was owned by the other photographer. So I'm doing a lot. I'm definitely improving. I'm not stopping here. There's always room for improvement. I would say my art comes out more when it comes to my editing. That way, that's what brings it out. I always have a vision in my head, and then once I get it back on my screen and edit, I know it's going to come out perfect. I
know. That's beautiful. Does anybody else have questions for Adina?
Thanks for showing your work, Adina. I'm really impressed with your technical skills and how you really pay attention to lighting, and it's patience and perseverance, and I can tell you have a super interest in it. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got so good at lighting. Can you teach
me? Thank you.
I'm serious. Can you teach me? Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't mind. I would teach you, definitely.
It's so nice. Like, well, I've been trying to master that type of lighting for so long, and I feel like I can never get it.
See, now it's hard at first because you have to basically you're fighting the ambient light with the flash. So it's kind of difficult to do at first, but until you understand your aperture, what kind of aperture and what kind of shutter you really need for these shots. Like, say for instance, on a cloudy day, you don't need such a low aperture or let's say a high shutter because it's such a cloudy day. But like say, for instance, those very vibrant shots where it's really sunny out, you see the blue skies, but the light is on you, that you definitely need your shutter all the way up and your flash on full power. And then also I use a double diffuse softbox and sometimes with a grid on it as well. And that helps lower the lighting on the person itself. So the highlights on the person, it would decrease a lot more, so it's more of an even tone on their skin.
All right. You got that, Naomi?
Yes, I also want to say you photograph Black people really well.
Oh, thank you. You know, and I love it. I love their skin. I mean, I love everything about the culture, and I want to do more actually. It's just I don't have anybody asking me at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. Your pictures are very beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I would love to learn from you if you could show us your last image before and after or any other one and see how you enhance with Photoshop or whatever program you do. That will be an amazing workshop.
Thank you. Is it possible to show? I know I have one saved on my Google Drive. Is it possible to show it real quickly?
I think so.
Okay, let me try and get to it pretty fast.
Well, she's doing that. Michelle, can you just talk about the exhibition? Because Michelle's at PPAC right now. Yay.
Okay.
And you want to just talk about 10 years while Adina calls that up?
Yeah, so 10 years is our Team Photo Alumni Exhibition. Team Photo is our free after school program, and it started in 2010, right after PPAC opened in 2009. Sarah worked with K Kappa, and that's where Adina went to high school, K Kappa, which is Kensington Kappa High School, just located near here. And this is our 10th year. It was our 10th year doing Team Photo, and we decided to celebrate that by seeing what was going on with the students afterwards, like what, where did they go? Like since I got involved with the program in 2013, 2014, I started stalking people to try to figure out who they are and what they were doing and make sure we're following them on Instagram. I actually met Naomieh at a poetry reading. And somehow we connected that she was in the Team Photo program and that I was helping out with it. And that's how I got to know Naomieh better. But there's 27, I feel like I keep saying 27, I'm not sure. I think there's 27 artists in the show. And it was a lot of work, probably like a year of planning. But I think we're all very happy with how it turned out. All the images were, they submitted images and then we kind of selected our favorites out of them and worked with each artist to make sure that they were sharing what they wanted to share. And we also offered to finish the work. So Keith Yarling, our master printer, printed all the work, or for the most part printed most of the work. There's some silver gelatin in here, so it's not all printed by him, but and then most of the work is also framed and finished by PPAC with the exception of a couple pieces. Yeah, so I think for me, the exhibition was really about meeting the artists where they are and just showing what they want and also providing a space for them to do that. Because for me personally as an artist, anytime I've had an exhibition, it's helped me grow tremendously, a lot more than just working in the studio. So I recommend you all come and check it out.
We're open 12 to 6, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Come down. It's so lonely in PPAC.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. That was such a great conversation about the work. So
Michelle worked her butt off, y'all. I know you know. I know that the exhibiting artists know that. All right, Adina, we're ready for you.
Okay. So from the last shot that I had in the presentation, I do have the before shot next to it. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it once more. for the quality of the skin, how I changed it. Then I'm gonna go to the before one, if it goes. Hold on, give me 1 second. Working with a slow computer. Give me 1 second. And that's the before. So I'm gonna zoom in on the before image, before the editing of the skin. Her skin wasn't too bad, but I still did some editing on the other shot. So this is the before with all the little bumps. And then her eyes are a little bit sharp, but this was on Lightroom. So this was after I did the coloring on Lightroom. I'm gonna go back to the finished shot one more time. And then her skin is basically smoothed out. I got rid of the little imperfections of the little bumps. I didn't show you one little spot where I did kind of like Photoshop her hair a little bit here. That way it doesn't stick out. I believe you'll see it in the next shot one more time. I'm gonna go back to the original. And there you go, that hair, little piece of hair was right there. So I kind of look at all those little details when I'm editing as well.
So Adina, do you, like when you charge clients, you're going to charge post-production too, right? Because that's a heck of a lot of work.
So right now I don't charge for post-production. I mainly charge $150 for an hour of my time. So I mean, that's all I do for now until I can upgrade my laptop and all that, because my editing does take time, especially when it's a lot slower. So
cool. Great. Thank you, Adina. I'm gonna go to the next artist, who is Naomieh. Naomieh is a friend and a hero. I'm just gonna say that up front. Naomieh Jovin is a visual artist with a focus in photography. She received her BFA in Photography and Digital Arts from Moore College of Art and Design in 2017. Her work is influenced by the absence of her late mother, as well as her experiences growing up as a Haitian American in the United States. In her work, she utilizes appropriated photos from old family albums and incorporates her own photographs to try and recreate similar moments. This process is meant to illustrate resistance and intergenerational trauma and how we carry them through our bodies. The incorporation of appropriated family photos, writings from relatives, and her own personal work allows Jovin to reflect on her family history while paying homage to generations before her and their generational resistance against erasure. Naomieh currently lives and works in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Thank goodness. Welcome, Naomieh.
Hi, Lori. Hi, everyone. Wow, she put me on the spot. Sorry, my rat keeps disappearing, and I look like.
Hey, lovely.
Hi, Sarah. Okay, yeah, I'm Naomieh, and I'm from Philly, born and raised in North Philadelphia. And I'll show you my work. First, I'm gonna start off like what I do for money, right? So. Okay, yeah. Can I I don't know how to work this thing, so bear with me. Can I do this in full screen?
You can.
How do I do this again? Hold on. Don't tell me. I found it. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna go through this really fast since I have 20 minutes. To get money, I'm a photographer, and to get money, I do freelance photography. I do product photography. I work with like small businesses, like jewelry owners, a graphic design agency in Philadelphia. They're really small, and they're like my friends from college. And they kind of hooked me up with like more work because a lot of businesses hire them to do to revamp their branding. Yeah. To revamp their branding, and I'm kind of like the photographer that they always recommend. This is another thing that they worked with this photographer and company called the Mango Market, and they needed like some social media photos. I work with PPAC a lot and Monument Lab recently a lot. This is one of my favorite photos from that project. This is a designer I went to school with. She's awesome. And this is like, she asked me to photograph her clothing items, and she gave me full reign over how I edit. I'm quirky when I edit, like I like doing weird stuff. And I love playing with Photoshop. This is another, a portrait of the model with the head wrap that she made, and then the clothing article that she also made. This is, I do portraits, try to do better. I'm trying to like listen to people more and not try to like do my own spin on things, but it's hard not to, because like I don't like doing mediocre stuff. This is another picture. She had gotten a gift from her friend, clothing from her friend from Rihanna's lingerie line, and she wanted to be photographed so she could be featured on Rihanna's Instagram. This is some event photography I did for PPAC from Women Mobile Museum. And that's what I do. And that's how like my style is for freelance. Okay, now to my artwork. All right, my name is Naomi Jovian. This is how you spell my name. How do I say this? Okay. So I went to art high school, and I got like introduced into photography, and then my teacher recommended me to do team photo at PPAC, and then I learned how to like learn more technical stuff about like photography and more the conceptual. And then I went to college at Moore, and then they said you have to do something like even more conceptual, and like that confused me, because like how do I make work that isn't heavy-handed or like what you see in mainstream like media, if that makes any sense. So I started off, and they gave us examples about like performance artists. So I began like I think my sophomore year, like to tell the story about my family. And so some of you may know that my parents are deceased, and I had a little rough childhood. My mom died when I was 10, and 9 months later my dad died. And then as I was a child, I was told that my grandmother, who's in the middle, kind of like put voodoo on my mom and killed my parents. And so that was my childhood, growing up thinking my grandma killed my parents. And then that my brother was cursed because my mom died on his birthday, and my father died while he was driving the car. So yeah, so that was like a lot to handle. So I was telling the predominantly white classroom about my family and what I would believe to be how my parents passed away, and they really didn't understand, so I felt really stupid. Also at that moment, I realized that I actually experienced abuse when I was a child up until high school, and so it was like pretty shocking to me. I kind of exposed myself, and I didn't know what to do and how to handle that. So again, you're in art school, they show you a lot of naked people. And I was like, okay, so how can I transform what I just did the first time and not make it make me feel so vulnerable, right? So this project, again, I was abused when I was a child, so I was afraid of seeing myself naked, seeing somebody seeing me naked, and just like the fear of like a lot of stuff that I had to unlearn. So my two friends let me photograph them in the nude, and this became a challenge for me to overcome that. I don't know, that weird relationship of nudity, right? Because I always connected it to violence done against me and stuff like that. So I didn't, at the time I just asked them if they could like move around this white pedestal. My intentions was just to challenge that fear. And so there was really nothing behind these images. And then so in college we have critiques, right? Like you put your pictures up on the wall and they tell you what to do. I mean, not tell you what to do. They tell you, they talk about your work and they critique it and they tell you their thoughts. Again, I went to a predominantly white school. It was a women's college, but a lot of the professors were men, which didn't make sense, but I'm not gonna talk about it. So their response to this image was, this reminds me of slavery, this reminds me of mugshots, and this reminds me of basically the trauma of like anything that had to do with like the traumatic history of Black bodies, right? And I was like, whoa, that was, I mean, yes, it had to do with like my own, but nothing to do with slavery. So it dawned on to me that that a lot of photographs of Black bodies are always connected to trauma. And so I try to, especially in black and white, right? Especially the mugshot comment. So I tried to incorporate color, right? And so I shot in color, I shot in digital, and I tried to incorporate the gray, not the gray, cardboard color, like just the different tones of Blackness and stuff like that. Again, trying to teach, this, not to teach, but this kind of became a process of teaching them instead of them teaching me. And also still trying to unlearn trauma for myself. And then still same response, but less corny, that's for lack of a better word. Then I started incorporating more color. I changed the brown box to pink, and it sat well with them, but not so much for me because it kind of became something that I was doing for them. This photo, oh, that scared me. This photo was a response to this masterclass that I was taking. It's called not masterclass, but this class, and it was called James Welling Masterclass. And he had like incorporated color and nature, and our assignment was to go out and photograph leaves and stuff and incorporate color, like the CMYK color spectrum into our work. I don't listen, and I don't like going outside. So I was like, I'm just gonna like work with what I have and still incorporate color. And then I showed up to the critique. I thought I was gonna get in trouble, but it turns out I didn't, and this guy did not want to leave my wall. And I was like, oh, okay. My teacher at the time was like kind of disappointed in me because I didn't do what he told me to do. And I came out with these images, and this guy was like, oh, I love them. People were like on my wall, and it was really cool. And so here's like some of the images that I showed him. And I had brought 5 of my friends, and at Moore they give you iPads, so and you can't see these colors well on the printers that we had in school. So I got them all to like what are those little things? Push pin. They're iPads on the walls, like how you hang up photos, and I got them to yeah, that's how I presented my images. And it was all last minute. I was nervous as heck. It was hot, and I had like a parka on. It was like 90 degrees, and I was so nervous I kept my jacket on. Sorry, my computer's frozen. Hey, bear with me. Okay, wait. Okay, here's another. The other 2 images. You could see right here, like I wasn't so good at Photoshop in these areas, but yeah. And then I took that idea and ran with it. And then I had a final project where I was kind of exhausted of trying to teach them, so I just did whatever I wanted. And this project wasn't received so well because of how clean it was. And I guess it kind of did what I wanted. It didn't give you anything. It was just a nice picture. And they wanted more. They said, this is too clean. This reminds me of Gap and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool. I was always challenging my teachers. Anyways, these photos are from my friend Terrell. They're gender non-conforming, and they wanted to appear that through photos. And so I asked, what do you want me to do? And they let me direct them freely. They just wanted me to photograph them. So these are like, I came up with the idea of like tucking. So I said, we can try that. And if you think that's too much, or like if that is like disrespectful in any way, let me know. And they were like, no, that's totally fine. I love that idea. So we did it. And this is how the images came out. And one of them were choose to be in the African American Museum. And I was so excited for that. And yeah. Oh yeah, okay, now, gosh, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go next. This is my mom. She's pretty, right? I have never seen my mom young at all. When my mom had me when she was like 43, and she died when she was 51 or 52. One of those. And I've only seen her from 40 something and up. And so, like, I only had a little bit of family photos of my parents, because during their funerals, a lot of people came to my house and like just took everything that belonged to her. Anything that reminded them of her, but kind of didn't really realize that her kids might need them. So yeah, so a lot of photos were missing. Jewelry definitely was missing. Everything was missing. So in high school and middle school, in elementary school, I would cry every day, because every day I realized that I was forgetting the voice of my mother and the face of my mother and my father. And it scared me, because I was like, oh my gosh, when I'm 20, I'm going to completely forget. And in my house, we weren't allowed to talk about, it was kind of taboo to talk about how you feel, right? You can't talk about your emotions. You can't say anything about our parents, because that is just a reminder that, you know. And yeah, so like maybe my last year of college, I came back to the house and I found an album, and it was my mom's album, and this picture was in there, and I was like, I don't want to, jump to conclusions. And I showed my sister, and I was like, is this like, actually, no, not this picture. A picture of my mother at a much younger age was in there. This one my cousin sent me. But a picture of my mother was in there, and I had texted my sisters if this was our mom, and they didn't know. So I had to ask my cousin if to ask her mom if that was my mom, and they confirmed that it was my mom. And it was just like, well, we don't even know who she is. And so that kind of brought me back down the path of trying to discover who my mother was. And, I always ask stories about, from my aunts and godmother, what they could remember, how she was and stuff like that. And you always hear the good stories of the person, but I kind of want to hear everything, what the hardships that she went through. And they kind of try to protect me to not make me feel bad and stuff like that. And one day my aunt actually told me that she had experienced a similar abuse like me. And yeah, and that kind of was oh crap, that made me think about intergenerational trauma and stuff like that. And then I went on this path of I guess photographing the women that reminded me of her and the women that she was very close to. So this is my godmother. Her name is Rosemary Noel. And this is her living room. It's like a time capsule. Nothing has changed at all. At all. Her bathroom is pink, and curtain is pink, the floor is pink, the sink is pink, toilet's pink, everything's pink. Red carpet throughout her house, because it looks the same. And that, like, this was kind of like to honor like Haitian women for me, and also like to go against that voyeuristic, I don't know the right word, but you know, when photographers go to Haiti or African countries, and they always photograph in a way to kind of exploit the people that they're photographing, right? And actually, what's funny is that I came to my godmother's house and I said, "I'm taking your pictures," and she said, "What are you going to take pictures like the Americans that go to Haiti?" And I'm like, yo, it broke my heart when she said that. And I was like, I would never do that to you. Like, why? Like, I don't know. Like, can I, like, I don't know. She just didn't like, she experienced that and she did not like that. And I wanted to change her mind about that. And I blew her, like, after I took her picture, I printed out this huge copy of her photograph, and she has it sitting in her living room, like, on top of this couch. And it's so cute. But yeah. And this is my Aunt Adele, another image of just like trying to photograph, like, yeah, just doing the same thing I did in the previous slide. And this is my mom's sister. She's cute. She's a Leo. She's a Cancer. My mom's a Scorpio. This is my mom's other sister, and this is a photograph that I found in the album. And then I realized how the similarities between the images that I've taken and the ones that I just found, recently discovered. It's the color palette.
Wow.
And the, I don't know, it's like, look at this, like, and it's a piece of carpet, and how I work with photographing is just, I find anything that I'm like surrounded by, and I use that as a backdrop. So this was like, it made me really proud to be so close to like home, I guess, or to like my family's. I don't know if I'm saying the right thing, but it just to find similarities was crazy. Again, this is the image of my mom that I was talking about, that none of my siblings and I knew that was her until we had to confirm. And this is the picture I took way before finding that album. And it's like, it was like, wow, like I'm really, like, I don't know, it's cool. I don't know. I'm speechless. Anyways, I'm still speechless. But yeah, like, yeah. And a fun fact, every Haitian person that I've known has the same curtains in their house, the same furniture, same kitchen appliances, same pots and dishes. And that's actually, this is the end. Wait, no, wait, hold on, let's see. My computer's frozen. Okay, no. Yeah, so more trying to connect to like my mother in a not so heavy-handed way, I guess. This is my godmother's house. She would, if she sees these images, she would kill me. This is one of the bedrooms in her house. I tell you, everything is pink, okay? Yeah. These images remind me of like my culture, like voodoo and stuff, and the stories that my parents told us when we were younger. This also reminds me of like voodoo culture and church ceremonies, where in church, when you get the Holy Ghost, like you like jump up and down and like yell, speak in tongues and stuff like that. And a voodoo ceremony is pretty much the same thing. Yeah. And this is new work. Something I shot recently. Still working on it. But yeah, I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Thank you.
Naomieh, can you talk about your dreams and your visions for this work, and also the title?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I was actually raising funds to self-publish a photo book in honor of my mom. And the book is going to be called Guo Femme. And Guo Femme means big woman in Creole. And I got that title from my aunt because I had recently, the guy that like sexually abused me as a child was put in jail last year, and she called me to express like her anger towards him, and then also commemorated me and said that I was a good femme and that I'm a big woman and that no one can stand in my way. And it just reminded me of my mother's journey, coming to America by herself, pregnant, and making space and taking up space and stuff like that. Yeah, so, and we reached our goal last night, and people are still donating, and I'm like very touched and super shocked that like I have so much support and in this, this project. And like, I don't know, I'm still shocked. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to process that, but yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
Anybody, we have a few minutes for Naomi. I talk to her all the time, so I'm not going to ask her questions.
I just want to thank you and to tell you that you are so brave.
Thank you.
And congratulations of being so brave and sharing your private story.
Thank you.
Hi, so I'm Harlen. Oh, my internet connection is unstable, but I went to Rush too, and Mazza talks about you all the time. He's like, he would show me your work in class, and he was like, your work reminds me of one of my previous students, and she actually did PPAC. And then he would always pull up your Instagram, he would show it in school. And then I actually went to the African American Museum with him. Well, we met up and we saw your work, but I didn't get the chance to talk to you, but it was so cool.
He told me about a student. He didn't say your name, but he told me about a student that was like, he said, oh, she does work just like you. She's at PPAC. And I was like, oh, Mazza's like my adopted father.
That's what I said. What? That's so cool though. Yeah, I love your work. It's awesome. And I love that you're so vulnerable with it, because a lot of people sexualize women and take advantage of Black Americans and Blacks in general. But you reclaimed your own story and stories for other people from where you're from. And it's very awesome. And it's really cool. And I love it. Good job.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I can't wait for the next part of this project to work I just can't wait for the work that's coming. I mean, I love your work already, but I can't wait for what's coming.
Me too. I'm excited and nervous.
I think if you're not nervous, then, you're not caring. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like nerves is part of it.
Yeah.
Your concepts are incredible, and I'd love to see more of that. The dancing in the living room, just the contrast between the bodies and the what did you call it? Like the like it was a museum, like the old furniture.
Oh yeah.
That I absolutely love that, and I love the where you messed with the color and did what you wanted, and you have and what it made me think of, you have a Black body that you put green on top of, and that just, it made me think of so many things. I mean, so many things, like, people who talk about, doesn't matter what color you are, you could be green or purple or, well, that's not real. Green people are not real. Okay, I don't think green people are real. Some people are real, but it just made me think of a lot of different things, and I thought conceptually that was really incredible. I would love to see more of that. So it's really amazing. Yeah.
Naomieh, can you do me a favor? Can you write the name of the title of the book, please, or the project? Because I heard it, but I can't visualize the word, and I want to be able to visualize the word.
It's about I don't like when Apple changes how I spell things.
Right. We have
Big words.
time for one more question, and then I'm going to introduce Mkali. if anybody has, or you got lots of love as well. I hope the artists are reading the chat, because there's definitely, both you and Adina have received beautiful, beautiful support.
Thank you, Sadie. Thank you, Adina. Thank you.
I have a question. I love your work. Just the range with this idea is just wonderful. I'm just wondering, do you have an idea of where you're going from here?
Well, hopefully, I mean, not hopefully, yes, the book is next. I was actually just offered to be represented by a gallery in LA, so hopefully I blow up there.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and I continue to make work. I definitely have a long way to go to make this book, and yeah.
That's great. Wonderful.
Thank you.
So her fundraiser is in the link in the chat. Wolfum. Is that
Wolfum?
Wolfum. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Mkali. Welcome. Mkali was born and raised in West Philadelphia, took interest in photography during high school. She started out shooting landscape and then moved into portrait photography with the intentions of highlighting and telling Black stories. Through her work, Mkali has found her passion for storytelling and has created multiple series that tie into the importance of identity, mental health, and self-awareness. Mkali created her first short film titled Exhale last year and is continuously creating. That film is on view at PPAC as well. And welcome, Mkali. So glad you could be here today.
Hi, I'm Mkali. I'm 20 years old and I'm from West Philadelphia. I created a PowerPoint today that I'm going to share with you guys that just sums up the range of my work. That's my dog. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure how to make this full size, so I'm just gonna work from.
Well, Adina and Naomi did it. How did she do that, you guys?
I press present.
Oh yeah, there's a button at present.
Yeah, I'm on my iPad, so it like isn't working right now. Okay, but my name is Mkali. I am a photographer, poet. I dabble into graphic design. Recently, due to the coronavirus and just being home, I wanted to find a way to change my art or like reuse my art, because I feel like there's no end to what you can do with your art. These 4 images that I have on the front screen are images of a friend of mine. I just did a photo shoot with her. Her name is Bria. Me and Bria recently connected over Twitter, and we connected over a conversation in regards to sexual abuse and just an experience that I was going through recently, where someone was just making comments that were in bad taste, and you know, we connected, and I wanted to shoot with her, and I feel like this photo shoot is very reflective of the connection that I have with her. The emotions and the images for me feel very warm and comforting, and I just feel like I found a sister in her, and she's younger than me, so I feel like I found a younger sister. And I really love the images that I took of her, and I really appreciate our connection and just her being there for me. This is just a short bio of me. Began my journey in photography as a sophomore. I joined Team Photo when I was a sophomore in high school. And during my time in Team Photo, I wasn't really sure of my style of photography or sure of myself at all. But I kept coming to team photo, and I kept talking to Michelle. Michelle has been a really big help and influence in my photography and just how I view my work in general. So just being at PPAC and the team photo program has really helped me cultivate my style and recognize that I'm always growing, and I personally feel like I don't have to have a personal or permanent style of photography, because I'm always growing as a person, and I feel that my work is very reflective of me growing. So yeah. So this is my most recent photo series, and it's called Introspection. Introspection was basically mostly about me being 19 last year. I'm 20 now, and just about me going through that process of just being very reflective and learning to be with myself and sit with myself after being in like a really toxic relationship. I really began to focus on my craft and my work, and I feel that I became more personal with my work, because I used to do landscape, but I became more personal with my work, and I wanted to connect more with other people and just be able to tell the story, my story and other people's stories through that same like connection that we have. So in these photos, I used my friend Darian as a model. And these images are really, I would consider them like something that I formed like in my subconscious mind. Like I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I had an idea of how I wanted to present Black bodies. I had an idea of how I wanted to make my images reflect like the way that I see Black men, or the way that I want to see Black men, and just emphasizing like the anatomy of like and vulnerability of Black bodies. So I just really focused on his body and his body parts in most of these images. And I used a smoke machine, and I used like glitter on his body, and we just really went from there. And I think it was really successful. With this photo shoot, I had a solo art show, my first solo art show at the end of 2019. I had it for my birthday, and as a way to, you know, just reach out to people and connect with more people on the creative scene, and just really be able to speak my mind about how I feel about mental health and representation of Black people in media and mainstream media, and just really push forward my own personal take on things. So here are some past images that I did. So the first image is from a series that I did in 2019. It's called Soft, and this series was really aimed to emphasize Black sisterhood, and how like Black women are always there for each other, and especially like during times like these, like personally Black women have to fall back on themselves or fall back on other Black women for support. And it's always like that sisterly emotion and just vulnerability that you're able to have with another Black woman that you can't really find anywhere else. So these two girls in the pictures were my friends, and they kind of look like twins. Everyone always asks like, are they twins? But no, they're not twins. But I feel like that's really representative of like the energy that they share with each other, and how like they're really connected to each other. And the image under it is also from the Soft series, and I positioned them in this specific way to represent creation. Like her hands are holding the other girl's head, just to represent like the sacredness of like women and Black women in creation. Like your womb area is your sacred area. And recently I've been really big on, you know, just learning who you are as a woman, as a Black woman, and really honing in on like your power and taking that back, while also recognizing that the strong Black woman stereotype for me just represents that we're vulnerable and we're able to display our emotions in a way that people think that we're coming off as aggressive, but we're really just passionate and we're vulnerable and we're strong people. And I come from a line of, I lived with my grandma, my mom, and my great grandmom. So I just have like a lot of different perspectives from like 3 generations and a lot of like strength and perseverance that I feel should not be seen as something that's harsh in media and photography, film, whatever it may be. A lot of my images are very community, like they give me like a warm community, like loving feeling. The image on the second row, the second image was a collab that I did with a friend of mine, and we just wanted to show, you know, like Black boy joy, or like just like be able to feel like this is what Blackness is, this is what Blackness looks like in another lens. Like it's not like any of like the movies like Boys in the Hood where it's like, oh, Black men are like hyper masculine and toxic and all they do is sell drugs and shoot guns. And like this image is like more so like it's here's like we're Black men, like we are here and we're graceful, we're able to be warm and loving. And the image next to that is an image of one of my best friends and his ex-partner. This series is called Yin and Yang. And for this series, I just really wanted to tackle the idea of like gender identity and really zone in on like what love looks like. And like yin and yang, people see it as like a masculine and a feminine energy. But like for this photo shoot, I think it was important to showcase love that was between 2 men, and like yin and yang energy doesn't necessarily mean that there has to be a woman or there has to be a man or like a cis like hetero relationship. And the flame represents like their love, like the flame of love. I don't know if anyone's familiar, like they considered each other like twin flames or whatever. And the image is just them like looking at like their love like burning and just them being close and intimate with each other. And the image above that is also from my introspection series. So that's my photography. So I mentioned that I get into I try to get into like collaging or graphic design now. I don't do it often, but it's something that I do when I'm feeling inspired, or like I see an image online or an image that I took and I'm like, I can create something from this image. So this first image, I call it Mother Earth. I forget the painting that's in the background, but it just reminded me of like creation and earth. And the image is of Solange, and Solange is like, in an astrological term, she's a Cancer, and the Cancer archetype represents like mother and home. So like I just used like this image of her, and like I created this picture, and I have like the reflective circle in the background that's like facing forward on purpose, because like we're all reflections of one another. We're all reflections of like our mothers we're all reflections of the universe. So it's like that mirror image behind her head is just like giving a nod to like we are reflections of each other. The second one I recently created in the light of all of the protests and the killing of George Floyd. And the paintings in the back are from the Harlem Renaissance. One of them is from Ramir Bearden, I believe, and one of them is from Jacob Lawrence, and I forget the other one. But it's an image of like those paintings in the back, and then we have the image of Angela Davis, who we all know is a very important idol, our leader in the fight against social injustice. And I put the title "The Revolution" over her eyes because of the famous like line, "The revolution will not be televised." And I put it over her eyes because that phrase just means that like the revolution happens within, and that just ties in to my intentions with my work to really encourage like people within the Black community to actively be aware of their mental space and actively understand themselves in order to see the change that they want. Like, we have to be the change that we want to be. So those are my graphics. Last year I made a film, and the film was called Exhale. And the film Exhale was really, I had the idea to make a film in September because September is Suicide Awareness Month, I believe. So I had the idea to create a film based around suicide awareness and specifically for Black men. And I used my friend Ren again for this series. Like, it all just tied together with him. Like, he was really important in my creative process. And here are some stills from the shots. Exhale was just to bring awareness to suicide. And I wrote a poem that led the film. I'm gonna try to play this. I have to sign in. Sorry. Oops.
Everyone look away. She's putting her password in.
Oh, wait, I changed it. Sorry. I do this all the time. I do this all the time. Okay. I think that's right. Okay, there we go. Confirm. Okay. It's not, okay, there we go. Is the audio playing on this?
Not yet.
Okay. This is just a small clip from.
Mkali, can you see it on your end? I think we see a black screen.
Yeah, I can see it on my end.
Yeah, it's not playing for us.
Okay, I'll just put the link in the chat, and I can read the poem that I wrote with the film.
Please.
Yeah, I'll read it from my phone. I can't really see the. So I call this poem Breathe. And Breathe is just a nod to me personally dealing with anxiety, and how I deal with my anxiety is I've learned to always stop myself in whatever I'm feeling and allow myself to feel it and just take breaths and focus on my breathing in order to bring myself out of whatever I'm going through, or to bring myself through whatever is going on within myself. So this poem is called Breathe. Every breath that I have taken has led me back to this moment, telling myself to breathe until the breath that escapes my lungs is nothing more than a coping mechanism instead of a means for life. These thoughts aren't mine, but somehow keep returning and pulling at the very last bit of sanity that I have. So many cries for help dissolving into the silence, the darkness of my room. I have taken these feelings and balled them up into the pits of my stomach, creating balls of anxiety, forcing me into the same fetal position that kept me safe in the womb of my mother. Breathe. I have lost track of time trying to center myself in this construct of minutes, hours, seconds, pouring myself into yet another black hole personifying darkness, becoming one with my mind so much that I go into overdrive and begin to malfunction. Breathe. I have lost all of these earthly demands and have been left to face my soul, to face my mind, to come face to face with my fate. Breathe. For the last time, I breathe, to bring myself back to this place, to be seen, to be heard, to be loved. And that's all that I have to show you guys for today. So yeah, that's my work. That's me summed up in what I do.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm amazed by all the different outlets that you are able to express
Yeah.
your ideas. I'm blown away. It's very rare to have so many talents and avenues to keep thinking. I think it's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I agree.
Mkali, could you also talk about the magazine you started with someone?
Okay, so I have a magazine with my best friend, David. We started the magazine last summer. The magazine is called Ethereal Magazine. And basically what we do with our magazine is we find young artists around Philly. We like to focus on people of color. And we recently were able to find a team. Like we have like a team of like 11 people now. For our first issue, it was just me and my best friend David. And we did like the writing, the photography, the interviews, the video editing, because we have a video portion and a print portion of the magazine. So it was just me and David just doing all the work to get everything together. And we had a final event and we had a turnout of over 70 people at our event, and we were able to raise over $200 to go towards our next magazine issue. And we've been working on issue 2, but since like the COVID pandemic, we have been not able to work with the artists that we've chosen to be featured in our next issue. But we're gonna be starting things back up in August, and we have a team of like 3 photographers, we have like writers and interviewers, and we have like meetings on Zoom. Like during this whole pandemic, we've been having meetings and just keeping in touch with each other, because a lot of people aren't from the city who are on our team. So we've just been working virtually with each other to make sure that we still remain a team. And we should have the next issue out by September, we're hoping, or November. And we want to have like another event to, you know, hand out our prints and stuff. But if that's not possible, then we'll figure out a way to, you know, bring the magazine back together. But it's been really successful, and it's something that I'm really proud of. Yeah.
Congrats. The link is in the chat as well. I cannot wait to have a look at that. And hopefully there's a way to stay in touch with with the publication of the next issue.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, I just followed I'm just saying that I followed your magazine, and I'm going to follow your other account. Your photographs are very beautiful. I suggest all of you to follow.
Thank you.
What are your plans for the graphic? I would call them graphic posters, graphic art posters. What are you planning for those? Are those in the magazine?
Those aren't in the magazine. I haven't figured out what I want to do with them, but I know, like, I've been thinking like they would be really cute on like t-shirts or maybe like tote bags. So like I've been thinking about getting that together. I made a website and I just put like the no piece one on like a small little stick pin, and they're only $2, so they're available for purchase on my website. But yeah, just putting them on different like wearable like accessories. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think that they're beautiful, and I think that it's got they've got potential to get out in the world.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Mkali. It's really great to be introduced to your work, and thank you so much for your beautiful work in the show. It's been wonderful to have this exhibit up. It couldn't have been a better show to have to extend for an entire year.
All the artists, thank you so much. You guys are beautiful, and I love hearing about your work. So thank you for being part of PPAC.
So I'm going to go to the next artist, our final artist for the day. Super excited. Harlen Valentine. Native and currently working in Philadelphia, Valentine is an artist who bases her work, but not exclusively, on issues pressing in the world around her. Since 2017, Valentine has solely focused on building and developing her work into what she calls artivism. Artivism is when you blend art and activism together in a unique way. Valentine uses her art to speak on specific issues such as LGBT plus communities, discrimination, racism, women's rights, and mental health. Beyond her involvement in awareness and assistance to others, she also consistently pushes herself to explore other aspects of art. Through focusing on a specific style of art, Valentine is not limited to her preferred medium. This entails mediums such as paintings, graphic design, clothing design, writing, sculpting, documentation, and interactive work. Everybody welcome Harlen. Thank you so much for being here today, and we're looking forward to your presentation. Oh.
I didn't know I was muted, sorry guys. I'm gonna share my screen. So I also made a PowerPoint. Let me use this. Okay, so I identify as a multimedia artist specializing in digital media and interactive installations. This is my piece that's at PPAC. It's a 2-piece series, but for this one, which is Mania, the overall title is The Binaries of Bipolar, Mania, and Depressive. This is Mania and this is Depressive. The left one in Mania is at PPAC and the right one of Depressive is at PPAC. And so I kind of wanted to break it down a little bit since it's such a large piece. So in order to deal with my bipolar disorder, I have a lot of good and bad coping mechanisms, but I will go through each level, I guess, kind of. So I do a lot of manic art and it's super colorful, and you'll see the difference in the other piece of how drastic they change. I do a lot of abnormal self-expression when I'm manic. Hypersexuality is a huge part of bipolar disorder. Impulsive decisions, which is a lot of my tattoos, but I don't regret a lot of them. I actually think that they're part of my journey. Strong appreciation or awareness for the world. Having a lot of serotonin when it comes to mania kind of feels like you're high, which can be a cool thing, but too much can end up being a bad thing. A lot of impulsive spending and intensified senses goes along with it, which is kind of cool because I can experience music and art a lot better. For my depressive state, you can see the difference in the art. I have a lot of darker moods and tones in my depressive state when I create. I have a lot of lack of emotional expression. I kind of had too many sad emotions, so I kind of get numb. Abnormal personal space, things get weird. Lack of physical effort is a big part of depression. Lack of effort in fashion expression is another part. Lack of creativity, I feel like everyone experiences, but it's really bad when you're in a depressive state, and messy actions. I wanted to talk about some pieces that I'm currently working on. So I'm working on a projector series with my brother, and dealing with my mental health for the past 7 years. I've kind of figured out a way to become in this like middle ground of bipolar disorder, which I also have borderline personality disorder. But bipolar disorder really does affect my emotions. So I finally found like a little middle ground, and I wanted to express that through a series, which is on my Instagram and my website. But here's another part of the projector series, and are you happy? Is it sanity or insanity? And I also wanted to explore capturing different ages. So these are younger ages, and I want to continue doing this. after Corona or once things open up, but in a healthy way, not open up for the economy. Continue to explore capturing different ages, because I feel like there's a lot of vulnerability in older ages that a lot of people don't capture, and I'd like to see it in my own vision. I'm also working on a clothing line, which is Mix of Madness clothing company. But I'm starting every line. Well, the line is going to have different collections, breaking it down. So this one's the anti collection. This is not all of the images. These are just samples. But this collection is going to be on mental health. And part of my profits will go to a local agency in Philadelphia. Ooh, it says internet connection is unstable, so sorry if it glitches. But each shirt is representing someone who deals with their own version of mental health and their problems. But each shirt will have a QR code that you can scan to actually see interviews that I will have with each person. The person is actually my brother. And I'm dedicating this shirt to him, but I'm writing an interview for him. Fruition. And this is another project that I'm working on right now.
Harlen?
Throughout Corona, since photography has kind of died down. So it's
Harlen?
Yes.
Yeah. You're really, I don't know if anybody else is having trouble hearing you, but there's like a real lag time. So was there any image between the house and the t-shirts?
No.
Okay, great. Okay, great.
Sorry.
Can you start over with the house?
Yeah, so this project is called A House Divided. It's an interactive project, but it's to represent my breakup. So this is before and this is after so far. There's a porch that goes along with it and a lot more work that needs to be done. But I added a picture of myself, me compared to the house. Oh, it's loading now. It might have loaded for you guys. But the house is like really big and I got it on Facebook Marketplace. But I wanted to do a house because when you're going through a breakup, you kind of falls apart. And I thought about divided cannot stand, and I thought about, so I wanted to people can focus on lighting, and all the windows will have stained glass, and it's going to be one viewer at a time, and there's going to be QR codes that you scan, and you have to wear your headphones, hard of hearing, and it's just going to be this overall really large installation piece, not really large, but emotionally large thing. But I started the bathroom, and that's as far as interactive pieces that I used. So for the first time, my first show at PPAC, I did More Than Your Words, which was represented the worst things that people have heard about their identity. And I put it over their eyes because eyes are the windows to your soul. And so I wrote a poem. I wrote to the abuser who also wrote or said these things to the people. And I had QR codes for the people that wanted to share more about their stories, but I wasn't necessarily hearing inclusive at the time. So it's only audio, but in the following project, but PPAC, and it's called We the People, and it's basically just representing people that are a part of the LGBT community. So you kind of hear about the LGBT community, but you don't see like all the different faces and people that are a part of it. And all of these people went to my school, which was Arts Academy of Benjamin Rush, and there was a large LGBT community, and of people hid their identities from others, and I wanted to like showcase their faces in a way that had pride. But it was supposed to be pressed against 2 panels of plexiglass, but at the time I couldn't afford it. So eventually, once I get more funding, it'll be between 2 panels. And these are some works that I did pre-corona. Is it? Do I stop sharing? I'm not sure like how this works.
Oh yeah.
If I stop sharing, does it go back to my face? Oh, it does. Okay.
Thank you. You did kind of go in and out.
Welcome.
I think we caught the most of it. And I think it's going to help now that the screen sharing is done. Congratulations on all the different ways that you're working, and I really appreciate the introduction to the pieces that are now on exhibit at PPAC, and it really helps me. I loved the pieces before I saw the arrows, you know, the pins and the arrows, but I really learned quite a bit about them, and so thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
The other thing I wanted, I people caught it, but can you go into like the different rooms? You were talking about it yesterday, and I just thought the different rooms of the house were really interesting, and you kind of went through it really quick. You were right. You went really fast.
I know. I knew I was gonna go way too fast. Yeah. So I want the person that I was with was super into history and was super analytical, and I'm like the complete opposite. I'm analytical, but I'm super artistic. So if you see my dog, I'm sorry. She's here. But I wanted to have I wanted to have an office for his stuff to show the contrast between us. So an office for me, an office for him. And then our bedroom would be like split up, but have everything in it. But different lighting. I kind of want my office to be upside down, and I want things to just like look really crazy, like each room be its own universe, because I feel like my photography represents that. Each image is like in its own realm, and so I wanted to like physically create that, and it's been really awesome.
I have a question about this house and about the breakup. So the breakup, it sounds like the way you speak about it so at peace, but you're building basically a piece to represent this breakup. And I'm just wondering, does it help you just process? Is it helping you process things, or?
Yes. Yes. And actually, oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
You know that you're doing this, like, you know.
I have no idea if he knows. He actually reached out about a week ago, but said nothing about that. But I was actually hoping that he would reach out for a while, but the way that he reached out didn't seem like, we split up because of our mental health, but it seemed like he didn't really grow as much as I grew, and it was like I was talking to a ghost, or like a shell of a person that I once knew. And actually this week was like really hard for me emotionally, but because I can't reach out, I don't want to beg for someone. I don't want to wish for that person that's already gone from my life. And dealing with that and having borderline personality disorder, borderline causes a lot of obsession with another person, drastic relationships. It's really hard. So it kind of felt like he died in a lot of ways. Like my brain processed it as he passed away. So in order to deal with the first 2 months of the breakup, we actually broke up in the beginning of Corona, was really hard on my mental health. I wasn't creating anything. I was just in a really bad place. And I actually found a window in the trash, and I was going to use the window and make a box, and it was going to have 3 rooms because the window was one of those that have the two lines and then 2 lines. And it was going to have 3 rooms, but it was going to show during a breakup, during a relationship, during a breakup, and once you've broken up. But then I was like, this is going to be too much work. And then I explored dollhouses, and that's how that came about. And then the whole meaning of a house in a relationship. But it is my biggest coping mechanism right now. Anytime I feel sad, I just go straight to the house.
Are there any questions for Harlen?
I'm really nice.
I have an anecdote. I have a dear friend who is a self-taught artist, and she has lived in the very same home. It's in a public housing for her entire life, and she's 65 now. She's a rock star, but and it's a small little house, it's a small little place, but she's been building or miniature houses for years. And so I want to get the two of you together.
That's so cool.
And you guys, anyway, but these are fantasy rooms. So when you were talking about different rooms, and she creates different fantasy rooms, all from found objects. Everything she gets is from stuff she's made or found. And I want to connect with you, and I just want you to see the work, because you would be blown away. And she lights it as well. She gets little lights, and she lights them different colors, and it's really amazing. So yeah. Anyway, so you're the second person I know that I have in my life now that creates these spaces that really occupy emotional ideas, and just and it's brilliant. That's my anecdote.
That's awesome. I feel like if you can't control the universe around you, make a universe. And that's basically what I'm doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that too.
Naomi says you're killing it. Okay, so yeah, is there any other questions for any of the four amazing, freaking inspiring artists? I am just so thrilled that you could share your work today. I really am. Thank you.
It's awesome. Thank you
for having us.
You
guys want to know a fun fact, actually?
Fun fact.
Sarah, me, and Lori are Aquarius. And me and Michelle connected because my moon is in Pisces and Michelle's a Pisces.
I'm a Pisces.
You're Pisces? Who else is a water sign or an air sign?
I'm a water sign. Do you want to guess what my sign is?
Scorpio or Cancer?
Scorpio, but my rising's a Cancer.
I'm so good. I'm like, Mkali, what's your sign?
I am a Earth sign.
Are you a Capricorn?
Yeah.
Oh, my best friend's a Capricorn.
Yay. I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn sun, Virgo moon.
Wow.
I just nod. I don't know anything about anything.
I don't know anything about anything.
I would love to know where each of you want to be, like in 3 years. Like, what do you want to be doing with your art? Where do you want to be?
I'll go.
Yeah.
So, aside from my art, I really want to work with kids. So, I just want to, I have a lot of things. So, like, I want to work with kids. I want to use my art to help kids. I'm not in school right now, but I'm going to go back to school. I want to become a licensed mental health counselor. And I just want to figure out a way to incorporate my understanding of myself and the way that I navigate my mental health and navigate my identity through my art. And I want to be able to extend that to young Black women, young Black girls, and specifically, and just young Black kids in general. So I want to be able to be like that person within my community that paves a way to allow young Black kids to be expressive in who they are through art. I also want to have my own cafe / like resource center.
/art.
Yeah, like just like a powerhouse of like things that I have been able to help myself with, and just be able to and extend myself to people of my reflection and just be able to help my people. I'm vegetarian and vegan. I've been learning a lot about like herbalism and stuff like that. So I just really want to create like a better way for younger kids and younger women in order to help them grow into like their best selves through art and through like mental well-being and physical well-being and things like that. So in 3 years, I'm going to be I started working on like a business plan for my cafe and like coming up with like little menu ideas and stuff like that. And I want to call it Motherland Cafe, just to like be like a center. Like the motherland is where you always go back to. So I want like people to feel like they can always come back to my space if they need something or if they need help or assistance or just somewhere to express themselves. So just planning within the next 3 years.
You've got a vision. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
You should definitely take a trip to Haiti.
Yeah, I also want to travel. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna 2 to 3 years. I definitely see my book physically. I should probably put myself on camera. See my book physically in my hand. Cause I think that's how long it'll. I want to take as much 3 years to like make the book as perfect as possible, and I just hope that while I'm creating the book that I'm continuing to exhibit and growing my work, and I don't know, like take a couple of trips to Haiti, find out more about like my family, my culture. Yeah, it's more like a lot of personal work that I'm looking forward to doing. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
I guess I would say like within 2 to 3 years for me, I really want to open up a studio and do high-end photography. Like I said before, I love to do beauty, portraiture, and anything that can make women feel empowered and to show it in images. I don't really have a huge dream about what I'm going to do next, but I know that's my next move, is to open up my studio, keep on creating for my portfolio and see where that takes me, because any opportunity can come my way. I know I'm going to be working with my cousin soon. He wants to run for office in the city, so he wants me to take his images and put them on billboards and all that. So I'm excited for that. But I'm just letting whatever comes my way just guide me to the path that I'm going to go.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time figuring out the next 5 years, 10 years. I wish I had a path, but I don't.
Harlen?
I guess since I'm the last one, in the next year, I definitely want to buy a van and travel across the country and do more documentary photography. But in the next 2 to 3 years, hopefully my clothing line is a lot bigger, and I have enough funding to just do that and not work another job. And I also want to open a gallery eventually here in Philadelphia, but have like almost like PPAC with workshops and a studio and all of that, and be super inclusive, just as you guys are. But I want to continue to travel, but if I go back to school, I can't go right now because of financial aid and Corona. But I'm planning to go to LA Film. I got in, but couldn't afford it, so I'm on pause right now. And hopefully in 3 years I'll move there. But if it doesn't pan out, then I might just like either relocate to LA and start completely fresh, or continue to grow here in Philly. But yeah.
What about you, Lori?
Oh, there's too many 3-year goals, man. I got lots. I got lots up here. So maybe one day I'll go there. I really want to invite the young artists to please stay in touch. we would love to be updated, and you can, of course, you're welcome anytime in our OSNAP group. But you know, this is a group where we support each other in our work, in our goals, and you know, I can tell from the comments that everybody is just so excited for you all, and you know, I know that we would love to hear from you and try to support you in any way we can. Mkali, when you start that, you know, that cafe, you know what I mean? Just like, let us know, right? Let us know how to support, right? And we're here for one another. So, you know, we're so great. I'm so grateful that you could be here. I hope I said that on behalf of all of us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Yay.
All right, so we've got a trip to Haiti. We've got people.
I love that.
Yeah, I vote Harlen. I vote for Philadelphia as usual. You know, I've only been here for 10 years, but I'm voting for that. Anyway, any other thoughts, anybody? Because we're wrapping it up now. Okay. Next week is just a regular check-in. And then Thursday night, Michelle, can you put in the thing for India? India Beale is a dynamo speaker, a freaking dynamo speaker, and she's been, her book that's come out, Am I What You're Looking For, is all about how women of color feel about entering the corporate world and sort of the way they're seen in that space. And India's gonna bring it on Thursday night, and I really highly recommend that one. So hopefully, you know, if you have time, 7 o'clock on Thursday, and we do a talk every Thursday night. And just coming up, we've got some great names coming up. Jay Simple, Makita Best. I mean, we've got, you know, it's going to be amazing. So check out the Thursday night photo talks. Oh, I'm glad you like her, Sadie. Yeah, she's great. I don't know her. I was just sort of introduced to her. So anyway, that's it. That's all I got. Y'all have a great day. Harlen, Mkali, sorry. I'm looking around. Naomieh and Adina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, look, we got 2 dogs. Look, there's Naomi's dog.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
His name is Mario.
Oh,
And just so you all know, all the work in 10 years is for sale, so you can support these young artists in different ways.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
bye.
Take care.
Bye, lovelies.
Bye, Sarah.